Joining me now, former federal prosecutor and MSNBC legal analyst Glenn Kirschner. So, Glenn, I am reminded of Trump's moment in the debate where he was asked about the Proud Boys and militia groups, and he said, stand back and stand by. What was your reaction to the revelation that the head of the Oath Keepers actually wanted to talk directly to Donald Trump?
So, there is something in this reporting for everybody, Zerlina, because some people will say, well, Donald Trump didn't take the call, right? The message wasn't patched through to Trump. So that's an indication that Trump had nothing to do with it. I actually take a contrary view. What in the world is it that made the head of the Oath Keepers believe he could talk directly to Donald Trump? It seems like there's a history there that we need to know more about because, as you said, Donald Trump expressly told some of these nationalist groups, white supremacist groups, hate groups to stand by. And they did stand by. He then called them to the Capitol on January 6th and told them to go fight like hell, which they did. So, all of this is pretty damning evidence.
Is it relevant that they followed his instructions?
It is relevant to Donald Trump's criminal culpability. He gave the order, go to the Capitol, fight like hell or you won't have a country anymore, because the people in that building are stealing your vote. That was untrue. That's what helps provide Donald Trump's corrupt intent to this whole sad endeavor. So, it's also somewhat relevant to the people who are going to trial and being convicted day after day for actually attacking the Capitol. It's relevant to their culpability, but only when it comes to the sentence. It is not a defense to the crimes that they're being tried for and convicted of, but they can rightly stand up at sentencing and say, look, my president told me to go attack the Capitol. I did what he told me to do. Not a legal defense, but maybe that reduces your sentence from 3 years to 2 years.
So the committee to date has met with Donald Trump Jr., Ivanka Trump, and also her husband, Jared Kushner. Help us understand the type of information they could get from the Trump family members and how it could fit into the investigation and be helpful. Kimberly Guilfoyle, also Donald Trump Jr.'s girlfriend, they've spoken with her as well.
Yeah, Zerlina, so much to unpack with respect to this testimony, especially Don Jr.'s, because as you just indicated, he only sat for 2 hours of testimony. Now, there are at least two enormous topics that I think the J6 committee would want to talk with him about. One is what his father was doing, before January 6th, on January 6th, after January 6th. What is his father's culpability in all this? But then the second topic is, what about his own culpability? You can't scratch the surface of one of those two topics, never mind both, in only 2 hours. But so I think part of what they're going to be keenly interested in is Don Jr.'s messages to Mark Meadows during the Capitol attack. My father has to call this off. He must condemn the violence. That's an important indicator that he knew his father was the one not only responsible for the violence, but who had the power to call off the violence. And Donald Trump refused to call off the violence for hours as the Capitol was being attacked. So that's important testimony. I think it also qualifies as irony, though, because Don Jr. himself spoke at the January 6th pre-insurrection pep rally, told the Trump supporters to go down there and fight. And here's a really interesting comment that Don Jr. made. He said he was urging them to fight for Trump. And he said, you have an opportunity to fight today to be a hero rather than a zero. Call me crazy, but when Don Jr. tells the angry mob, you have an opportunity to fight today, it sounds like he wants them to go to the Capitol and fight today, not, organize in the future, vote for Republican candidates, et cetera. So, there's a mixed bag when it comes to Don Jr. testifying about his father's potential conduct and misconduct when he has a healthy dose of culpability himself.
We don't have time to talk about Kevin McCarthy, but I'm sure there'll be another mixtape dropping that we can discuss on a future date. So Glenn Kirschner, thank you so much for being here today, and please stay safe.
Hi, I'm Zerlina Maxwell. Thanks for checking out our channel on YouTube. You can see more from Zerlina by clicking any of the videos on this screen, and make sure you subscribe below to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. Thanks for watching.